Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead. Harper got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it and to the middle with the 15 to the 20. Breaks free to the 25 to the 30 to the outside. 40 midfield. 40 30 in the coast. 20 15 Hester 5. Oh! Touchdown!
Toward Bryant. He will glove it toward Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. It's the weekend, baby. And I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Listen, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Go to the show's page. Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning and like that page as well. So not only will you be following Sports Zone Chicago, but you'll be following Shawn and Maya as well. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, man. Listen, go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button. Okay. I'm sorry, the subscribe button. I forgot about that. Click the subscribe button. All right. Do that, but also click the notification button. That's the little bell right next to it, and that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. You get it? Got it? Good. Now, if you're watching us on our mobile app, please don't tell me you didn't know we had a mobile app. Come on now, peoples. We have our own mobile app. So listen, wherever you get your apps from, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you get your apps from, okay? Whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Macy, Montgomery Ward, Venture, Woolworth, wherever you get them from. You go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it. You take us with you on the go. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook, but I'll tell you what, we give you a slew. And I mean a slew of articles. Thanks to my man Clarence Council III. Big up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. Now, if you're watching this on our Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. We have our own Roku channel. That's what I'm talking about. So listen, here's what you do. If you have a Roku television in the house, download Sports Zone Chicago's channel right to your TV. Put it right there next to Netflix, Hulu, Max. Oh, speaking of Max, Power Book 3, Raising Canaan, new episode today. Yeah. And then what I'm doing after the show, that's what I'm talking. After the show, it's the after party in. But download it. Put it next to Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Stars, Hulu. All right, just put it right there, right next to all of those things. Now, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy, that's CHI, at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, you want to know what I did? Well, let me tell you what I did. You want to know what I did? Well, here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. You want to follow her on Instagram because you're an IGer and you do it just for the gram, we'll just follow her at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. Listen, we have a phenomenal show, but I need you to get interactive with us on whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, whether it's our mobile app. Leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll come up here on the thread. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll incorporate it into the show. And that, my peoples, is what makes this the best morning Chicago sports talk show around. And that's you. So bring them all, baby. We want all that smoke, all questions, comments, smart ass remarks. Bring it because ain't nobody scared over here. Like The Rock said, baby, don't sing it. Just bring it. Let's see who we got in the chat. Black Diamond in the house. You know what's so funny, Black Diamond? That's hilarious. So when I saw it, it looked like I'm nearsighted. Well, it doesn't look like I'm nearsighted. I am nearsighted. But when it was in the thread, it looked like someone was throwing up. And I'm like, yo, top of the throw up. And I'm like, what the hell is that? I was like, Black Diamond, what's all that about? But now that I put it up on the screen, I see the morning, the sun. I'm like, top of the throw up. What the hell, Black Diamond? What the hell, Bobby? Black Diamond, good morning, Papa. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I see it's top of the morning and not top of the throw up. Thank goodness. My man Cornelius Squalls, what up? That's what I'm talking about, Cornelius. Lavette Lee in the Mickey Ficky house. Good morning, Mama. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Be smooth in the house. What's up, Papa? Happy Friday. Marshawn Walls in the Mickey Ficky house. Yay, yay. My man, Armando Emeterio Lara Jr. My man Junior's in the house. What's up, baby? Baby. Someone called? No, call me. You know I'm on the show right now. What's wrong with you? My man Junior's in the house. What's up, Papa? Lee, listen. So I'm gonna have to go see it. Black Diamond, yeah, I know he did that the other day. I didn't get a chance to check it out, so I'm definitely gonna go watch that up today. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. Thank you for giving me the heads up for the wording me up on that. I appreciate it. Listen, I don't know a lot about a lot, but I do know a lot about this. I do know this. More of the usual suspects are going to check into the show as the show goes on. That, my peoples, I can tell you. That I know. Yeah, I'll go back and check it out after the show. I got to go pick up the warden from CrossFit. I have to go check it out. Oh, and I got to watch Power, and after Power, I'll watch this. After Power, I'll go watch that interview. Just keep it at a buck with you, Papa. Just keep it at a buck. Okay. Now you got me excited, dog. You got me excited. You know, I wonder if he talked about his footwork. You know, the stupid thing is dropping his left foot back first instead of his right. That don't make any sense. Ugh. 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 You know the old saying, coaching matters. Coaching matters. Hashtag coaching matters. All that, yes. I knew Coach T. I knew he was going to get on it, dog. I knew he was going to get on it. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Baby. Well, listen, we have a phenomenal show, baby. At 9:30, Fred Pfeiffer from the Big Red Bus is going to join us. He's going to talk Bulls, basketball. Bulls with a big win yesterday. I like it. I like it a lot. So we got some Bulls talk with Fred Pfeiffer at 10 o'clock, my man. From the Lockdown Bears podcast, Lauren Cox is going to join us. So we're going to talk Bears football. We're going to talk Super Bowl Sunday. Whew. Oh, what do you say? Plus said what everybody with a brain said about Caleb. What was that? That we don't know if it's going to take him time to develop. We don't know if he's going to be a bust or not. I can't wait. I can't stop putting it because you got me fired up, Black Diamond. You got me. You know what? I might even watch that before I watch Power. After I get back from picking up the warden, I might even do that before I even watch Power. That's how crazy I am. Don't even try and stop me. Don't try and stop me. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh man. So that's the lineup, baby. 9:30. That's the lineup. 9:30. We have Fred Pfeiffer talking Bulls. 10 o'clock. Lauren Cox talking Bears, talking Super Bowl. I like it. I like it a lot. Well, guys, you know how we do. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
First, top of the morning topic. Which way do we go? 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 You know which way we go, boys. Stop playing. Stop playing. The Bulls, baby. Only the Bulls. Only the Bulls. The Bulls with a big win yesterday down in Memphis over the Grizzlies, 118-110. That's what I'm talking about, baby. DeMar DeRozan dropped 30, 8 rebounds. My man Drummond, woo-wee, 21 points, 13 rebounds for Andre Drummond. Vooch, the walking double-double. We got 2 walking double-doubles. Drummond and Vooch. Vooch, 20 points, 10 rebounds. Kobe White, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. I guess so much for him not being able to be a facilitator and a point guard. I didn't think he could do it. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. I have no problem. I don't ever have a problem admitting I was wrong. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. No problem whatsoever. You know, I am very fired up about it. I mean, Kobe wasn't too crazy. He was only 2 for 3 from beyond the arc, but still, I mean, it wasn't necessary yesterday. Big win for the Bullies yesterday, and I'll tell you what, I like it. I like it a lot. Well, speaking of the Bulls, tomorrow the Bulls travel down to Orlando to face the Orlando Magic. Tip-off is 6 p.m. Is it 6 p.m.? It seemed that, is that 6? Yeah, it is 6 p.m. I'm sorry, 6 o'clock. You can catch that game on NBC Sports Chicago, or you can listen to it on their flagship station, 670 a.m. Bulls are doing some good work right now. I mean, I know there's still a couple games under 500, but that'll change. There's 30-something games left. One of the things that I wasn't happy about, and we'll talk about it with Fred, is that I was happy with their non-activity at the trade deadline, which passed yesterday. And he hasn't, 2.5 years? It's been, since he's made a trade. Come on, man. Come on, man. Arturas Karnisovas. Come on, Papa. What are you doing? I go, man, Chris Pena in the house. Good morning, Papa. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. But yeah, we're gonna talk. We'll talk a lot more Bulls at the bottom of the hour with Fred Pfeiffer. And we had all he kept saying yesterday. All he kept saying yesterday was, "Stay competitive, stay competitive, stay competitive, stay competitive." And someone asked him, by stay competitive, do you mean vying for a play-in or playoffs, not really being a serious contender? He's like, "Oh yeah, we want to be competitive." Every single answer he said was competitive. We want to be competitive. I would assume he understands what the question was. I would assume. So bottom line is, and another person asked him the question, does he think his bosses would be happy with him in his performance? He said yes. So it seems like right now the Bulls are just trying to stay competitive, just trying to stay in the middle, anywhere from the play-in to the 7th or 6th seed. It keeps us going, keeps us excited, but there's really no legitimate threat for us to take the East. It puts asses in seats. It keeps jerseys sold. And you know what? I didn't make this the top of the morning topic, but according to DeMar DeRozan said he would like to come back if the money's right. He would like to come back to Chicago. Let me tell you something. Chicago is a phenomenal town. Like, people, when they leave Chicago, they miss it. They miss it. And I don't know where everyone's watching from, okay? But if you're watching from Chicago, you know what I'm talking about. And if you've never been to Chicago, man, let me tell you, you start off, come here in summertime shy. You will never want to leave until winter. Until winter. But summertime shy, there is nothing. Cue up Alicia Keys. No one. No city in the world like Chicago in the summer. Summertime shy is off the chain. Festivals, concerts, street fairs, the lakefront, boats, the boats out there. 31st Street Pier, house music every Thursday, or is it Friday? I think it's Friday. Jazzing at the Shed. There's so many things to do, and not just to mention the regular things like the phenomenal restaurants we have here, the great theater scene we have here, the great night scene we have here. Man. Brian, just south of Indy, been a while since I've been. Man, you got to get up here, Papa. Got to get up here. So, athletes leave and they miss it. They miss it. So don't be surprised if you're downtown or River North and you see some famous people going to a steakhouse, going shopping on Michigan Avenue. Don't be surprised. Chicago is it, man. So what they started doing, they were doing it again. I think they did it last year, Jazz at the Shed. And it wasn't every Thursday. Remember, it used to be like every Thursday. I think it was the first Thursday. I think it's like once a month now. But now they're having house music at the Shed. I know Bulu Master was there last year in September. Hell, they'll have house music in on Fridays at lunchtime by the Picasso on Daily Plaza. I'm telling you, and I was down there for one. Dude, it is. You got people who work downtown in the heart of downtown out there dancing at lunch. It's dancing in Daily Plaza at lunch, 12:30. Suit and tie, or if it's warm enough, they'll just have the shirt and tie. Loosen up their tie a little bit. Women dancing in their business attire. Some of them taking off their heels so they could dance to house music at lunch. Ain't nothing like Chicago. I can see why DeMar wants to stay. I completely, DeMar, understand. Well, the next top of the morning time, let me tell you something, baby. Like my sophomore math teacher said to my best friend at the time, Joey Volpentesta, when he got caught and he had to stay after school for a jug. I don't know why they called it jug, but he had to stay after school for jug. It's long overdue. Father Flaw said it's long overdue, and this is long overdue. The Pro Football Hall of Fame selected 3 former Chicago Bears to the Hall of Fame. Devin Hester, Steve McMichael, and Julius Peppers. Devin Hester, with a tragedy that he had to wait until his third time on the ballot. But you know what? He's in. Congratulations, Devin Hester. You are the greatest. You are ridiculous. You are the greatest kick returner in the history of the NFL, bar none. Congratulations, Steve McMichael. Steve. See, most people think Steve was just part of that 85 defense. And as much as he was part of that 85 defense, He might have been the anchor of that defensive line. When Steve McMichael retired, he led all interior defensive linemen, all defensive tackles, D tackles, and nose guards. Okay, he led all defensive tackles in sacks. He led the NFL in sacks, the history of the NFL for interior linemen, interior defensive linemen. So he was no joke. And the Julius Peppers, he's most likely going to go in as a Carolina Panther. He spent 4 years here in Chicago. And let me tell you something. He balled out. He balled out while he was here in Chicago. Okay. It's unfortunate. They came up against a cap situation with him and they let him go, and he ended up going to Green Bay. But that dude was a freak. He was 6'7", 6'8", svelte, big legs, big thighs, big ass, but svelte. Real quick story. So we went down to Bourbonnais. I was still playing back then, so it was like 20, probably I don't know if it was like 2011, 2010. And we played down in Bourbonnais, and during the week, me and my boy Mark, my fullback, went down there to do some recon, find a place for us to go after the game. So we found, we went across the street because we're playing in Kankakee, which is 5 minutes away from Olivet, from Bourbonnais. So it was in the middle of training camp. So we said, hey, you know what? It's a Saturday night. So we went a couple places across the street from Olivet Nazarene where the Bears practice and where they were staying. And we found a place called the Library, the bar. I loved it. That could be the best name for a bar in a college town ever, is the Library. So we walked in, we talked to our guy. The guy's like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. You know what? We'll work on. I'll email you. We'll work on some drink deals. And I said, hey, I'm bringing like 20 people. 15 to 20 people. Like, no, don't worry about it. So, all right, cool. So he doesn't send me a list. We show up after the game. I was like, man, I called you. I said, you never emailed me. I called you, never got back to me. I emailed you. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. So he gave us a great deal. He's like, he goes, we'll take care of your drinks, all of them. I'm like, what? He took care of our drinks. He got just tipped the waitresses. I'm like, okay, bet. So there were 12 of us. A lot of people ended up not staying. They didn't want to drive back from Bourbonnais. So they were giving us free drinks, free rounds of drinks. So we were drinking beer. So it wasn't anything crazy. So we went up and we got a big tray. Every time we went up, we got a big tray. So there were 15 of us. And I was like, so I said, hey, listen, each of us will go up and get a tray at one point. I'll go get around, boom. But when you go get around, you drop $20. All right. That's how much that round's going to cost. $20. Like, what, 15 beers? I'm like, yeah, it's just, I told them the story. They're like, oh shit, that's amazing. I'm like, yeah. So each of us will give $20 every time we go up there. Okay. That's $300. 15 people times 20. All right. That's $300 for the bar. There was 2 bartenders. Whatever it was. Yeah, probably 2. So we had a phenomenal time. My back is to the door. The door opens up. In walks Julius Peppers and Lance Briggs. I turn around. I'm like, oh shit. Damn. And one of the girls at the table had come. She hadn't seen it. She didn't see him. She got off. And she turned and went to go to the bathroom. And she walked right into like his crotch because she was short. She's like 5. She's like, well, damn. Ain't you big? I was like, and man, he had a V. Then it came out big thighs, his big legs. I was like, hey, you guys want to join us? Like, no, we're straight. Thanks. I'm like, all right, man, we got beer here if you want. I was going to give him my beer, but they stayed for like 5 minutes and then he bounced. But let me tell you something. He was all of 6'7". He was all of 6'7". That was crazy. Crazy. So congratulations to those guys. Devin Hester, you're the best to ever do it. Mongo, you were the best for a long time. One of the best interior linemen in the history of the game. Julius Peppers, you were a freak. Crazy. Well, let's keep it moving. The next top of the morning topic, the White Sox. The White Sox released the renderings of their proposed South Loop Stadium. They're wanting to move right on Roosevelt and Clark, right across from the Target. And it looks nice, right on the river, branch of the Chicago River. This is what this new stadium would look like. See the river, obviously, there. You see the big screen. Here's a good shot of the inside of this. It looks pretty cool. However, how about working on a team first? How about building a team? How about getting a manager? How about stop meddling in affairs? Crazy, crazy, crazy. This looks amazing. This looks amazing. It really does. But how about working on a team first? That's nutso. Next top of the morning topic, the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks host the New York Rangers tonight at the United Center over on the West Side. Puck drop at 7:30 p.m. You can catch that game on NBC Sports Chicago, or you can listen to it on their flagship 670 a.m. Blackhawks are still going through that thing. Connor Bedard was at it does look like Petco Park. It does. Has there ever been a class going to the Hall of Fame? Yeah, I don't know. So actually the Bears might be in the Hall of Fame game. Be on the lookout for that, because 3 Bears, and I know Julius Peppers is technically most likely going in as a Carolina Panther, but he played for us. So there's some talk that the Bears might be in the Hall of Fame game this season. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break, and then to the other side of the break, we're going to switch gears and talk a little Bulls basketball. Bulls with a big win yesterday. We talked about it earlier in the top of the morning segment over the Memphis Grizzlies, 118-110. And my guy, C-Red Fred, is ready. We're going to talk. Could DeMar be staying? He said if the money's right, we'll find out. Fred Pfeiffer on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Ryan Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? Your makeup makes you look like a clown. That zit is huge. Zit face. Ugly.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
I'm playing with cars.
Cars? Can you show me what a car does? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second. First of all, this is a school zone. So you need to put down your cell phone, stop texting, and let's get to driving. Now you're coming up to a stop sign, right? You need to slow down and stop before you hit that Y line. I want you to look left, right, left. You don't want to get hit by a car going on your left, and to your right to make sure you don't get sideswiped by a guy coming from your right. You're coming, and you see a crosswalk. You better slow your horses down, because the number one rule of driving is always yield to pedestrians. Now stop, pull over, and you are done driving. Gosh, what do they teach you kids in school nowadays?
DeRozan draws defense, rotation to White, extra feed, Vucevic, wide open three, good. Jackson, one of the best stories in the NBA, is in. So is Jacob Gilyard, who's played well, especially on defense. DeRozan again. Jackson's have a combined 32 points. Drummond inside on a Vucevic. 13th NBA game.
Yeah, a lot of these kids, they fall through the cracks, and you don't really.
There's the deflection by Jemison. Into Drummond!
Watch your hand!
Vucevic right back to the post. The double comes. White's a three. Drummond!
Oh, Mr. Drummond!
Elevated!
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. Those were the Bullies, baby, with a big 118-110 win over the Memphis Grizzlies yesterday. And man, I like it. I like it a lot. All right. I love Drummond. As soon as we got him, I was fired up. He's a walking double-double. And I had begged Billy. I called him on the phone, called him at the Advocate Center, like, Billy, put these two guys in there together. Put those two bigs in there together, him and Vooch. He's like, I will, Shawn, I will. And he was holding me off. He was lying to me for a while. Now he's doing it. And look, you saw me, man, nice little feather touch, little floater from the pass from Vooch. That's what I'm talking about. Getting me fired up over here. Well, my first guest, you know him. He is a good friend of the program. He's been with us. He's been rocking with us for years. We've been in the game for years. From the Big Red Bus. You can find him on Twitter at CBE Fred. That's for Chicago Bullseye. Man, let's bring him on. Our boy, Fred Pfeiffer. Fred, what's up, Papa? Good morning.
John, it's good to see you again. Thanks for bearing with my laryngitis. I'm on the mend, and I hope you can hear me okay.
Yeah,
my voice is still not 100%, but I'm pretty excited about. I know it's disappointing the Bulls didn't make any trades at the deadline, but in order to compete, as they said, for play-in, you couldn't afford to move any of these guys. You had to keep the entire team, Caruso, Drummond, every guy that they had that there was an interest in. You couldn't move them because if you move one of them, you fall behind Atlanta. You need every asset on this team possible in order to compete for the play-in tournament. So I'm not surprised they didn't make a move. I don't agree with it, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I don't agree with it either, Fred. And you know what? I just think that how do you look at your team and say, oh, we're good? Like he hasn't made a trade in 2.5 years now? It's like you got to. Yeah, it's been a real long time. And you have to always keep running a team. There's constant change, constant upgrading. And it just seems like for whatever reason, he's averse to it. I don't know. I get it. You wanted you wanted a three. You wanted DeMar, Vooch, Zach. But man, that bench, it's I like him. Once Zach and DeMar went down and that bench started playing, those younger guys started playing. Man, we talked about it the last time you were on. These guys are running and gunning. I like it. Yeah, they're not over 500 yet, but they're playing much better basketball. They're moving the basketball. They're giving assists up the yin yang. This is what we talked about. All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this dude who's, I don't know who the hell he is, but just whoever he is, keep showing up wearing that number 0. Kobe White is white hot. He should be an all-star.
Yeah.
Talk about how awesome he is. And he had eight dimes, six boards and 8 dimes yesterday. Well, I guess he can facilitate a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a real point guard. You know, that's what's so frustrating about this year to me is that you've had him step up and improve into a role of a very good to great player for this team at $12 million per year. He's on a bargain contract. So you've actually had one of the young players elevate their play to the point that he's one of the best guards in the NBA. You had Ayo with a very good rebound year, playing much better than he did last year, outplaying his contract. And, you know, to a lesser extent, too, you had Caruso having a career year, or, you know, equal extent, Caruso having a career year. You had 3 guys really step up. But we've had such a decline from our big, quote-unquote, big 3. And Zach has hardly played or been injured. And when he did play, he didn't play anywhere near as well as he did last year. Vooch has now become a constrict 5 where he's one of the lowest 3-point shooters in the league. And he doesn't stretch the floor anymore. And then you have DeMar, who's getting older and aging and not playing as well either. So you're back in the exact same place, despite Kobe White emerging as one of the best young guards in the NBA, shooting 40% from 3. The guy, he has very few. I can't identify any part of his game now that's a negative on the offensive side of the ball. His passing improved, his ball handling. Guy can just score from 35 feet or beat you at the rim. His finishing, it's just been amazing to see how this kid has progressed, and I'm thrilled about it because he's a leader, he's a winner, and I'm excited to watch him for the next few years for the Bulls.
This is what happens when you develop play. This is what happens when you allow them to develop. You know, I wish the development would have been similar to Patrick Williams, but we'll talk about him in a second. But everything Kobe does, everything you said, dude, is right. Like he's playing with so much confidence, and it's great to see. I mean, he's shooting from Winnetka, and you know, earlier like Kobe, what are you? Oh, okay. Now I'm like, oh, he's got it. I'm expecting him to make that. For me, he's getting up to the point where I'm expecting him to make it like a Dame would make it, or like a Steph would make it. Like it's scary. And he's not at that level because it's a consistency. He hasn't been there for so many years. But he keeps doing this. And if he does it next year and the year after, he's going to be that dude that, as his Bulls fans and the rest of the NBA, is going to be like, this dude's no joke. And he's going to be an all-star. How soon before this dude's an all-star, Fred?
I think he could be an all-star next year. I think he would have made the all-star team this year, but he had a relatively slow start in October, November. So I think he could be an all-star next year. He should absolutely be in the 3-point contest this year. If he's not, it's a travesty. He's one of the best young guards in the league. Now, there are a ton of great guards, Halliburton, Brunson. I mean, the East is filled with really good guards, so I understand he's going to need to really elevate in order to get on that roster, because obviously they're just, look at Dame. They're just good guards up and down in the East. But if he plays like he has consistently for an entire 4 or 5 months, starting from the beginning of the season, he'll absolutely make an all-star team at the age of 24. It's just beyond exciting how good he's progressed as a player. And I think we got really lucky here. I'll be honest with you. He was in every trade rumor for 2 years. Every single trade rumor from this front office. This front office has traded every good asset that we've had from the previous front office. And here we are, 2024, and the best player on our team is a guy drafted by Garpax. They traded Lauri Markkanen. Would we not be in a better spot today if we had a team that was based on Lauri Markkanen in the front court and Kobe White in the back court? I don't know how you can argue this.
Yeah.
I saw a stat that in December, the 2 best 3-point shooters in the league were Kobe White, or maybe it was January, Kobe White and Lauri Markkanen. Just imagine that. If we had those 2 guys as the core of our team, instead of what we have now with an aging vet squad and Kobe White. Kobe White's our only light, really, at the end of this tunnel. I don't see anything else that's going to be worth keeping.
Fred, is it time that they pivot and make him the closer?
Absolutely. I think you started to see that in the last game because DeMar's getting older. DeMar's still an excellent player, though. I feel like there's a lot of from the fan base, a lot of noise about you got to get him away to let Patrick become that guy. That's absolute nonsense to me. I think this team would take a significant nosedive if DeMar was moved at the trade deadline. The reason why is he's the only player on the team who consistently gets to the free throw line. No other player in his team, with the possible exception of Kobe and Zach. Obviously, Zach's out. Kobe White gets to the line, but everyone else, it's like a massive cliff from that point. There's a huge benefit in getting to the line, picking up fouls on the opposition. It really increases your offensive efficiency. And Vooch never gets to the line. None of the key other players outside of DeMar DeRozan get to the line. So, I'm big picture. I'm kind of glad that they kept it as is, because I think it is important for Kobe White's development to play in the playoffs, and even if it's a play-in game, get that experience. And if they would have traded DeMar, if they would have traded Caruso, I don't believe that things would have been good. I think they would have clearly taken a nosedive, and Atlanta's playing well enough that they would have surpassed them. They might not have fallen as far to get out of the play-in, but they definitely would have lost the first game. We'll see how they go from here.
Guys, we're joined by Fred Pfeiffer, Buzz, ChicagoBullseye.com. Talking Bulls basketball here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Alex Caruso. This dude is awesome. And he does it. Tell me what he's doing now. Or is it just a continuation? Because he does so many things that don't necessarily show up on a stat sheet. But this guy, when he's together, he is the glue for that team defensively. He is a glue for that team. And he's the kind of guy who'll hit a big shot. And he's a veteran leader. Talk to me about his importance and him not being traded, because there are a lot of rumors that people wanted, a lot of contenders wanted him. And I remember when he came here, my cousin lives in LA, and he cursed me out. I was like, "You son of a bitch, you got Alex Caruso." I'm like, who? Who the hell is this guy? He's like, watch him for a couple of weeks. He goes, and you tell me you're not happy to have him. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. I see why you're mad he's gone. Talk to me about him and how important it is that he's not moved. He wasn't moved at the deadline.
Well, he's absolutely essential for the success of his team. He's the thing that's really he's risen to, in my opinion, arguably the best 3-and-D player in the NBA. He's shooting 40% from three this year. That's an area where I felt like he kind of fell off a little bit, but now he's shooting the ball so well from the three-point line, combined with just stellar, excellent defense. He's absolutely integral for this team to win and compete and potentially make some noise in the playoffs. I don't think the Bulls are going to get out of the first round. I think they'll probably lose, 4 games to 1 or 2, whoever they play, whether it's Cleveland, Boston. Who knows where they're going to end up. But if the goal, as Acme stated, is to compete, you absolutely had to keep Alex Caruso, despite the fact that the rumors are Golden State was offering 2 number 1 picks. This draft is not a good draft. So that number 1 pick would have been 15 or beyond. I think people definitely overestimate like a late first rounder. It's very rare. You're not going to find really great superstars often. The Jimmy Butler at 30 doesn't happen often. That's like an exception to the rule. You find role players in the late first round. So if your goal is to compete, you had to keep Caruso. You didn't have a choice. We don't have any draft assets. We have our number 1, but this year, but next year that could potentially go to San Antonio. It's top 10 protected in the DeMar trade. We gave away all our second rounders out till 2028. So I do understand the argument. Like, there are a lot of fans who wanted to see Caruso get traded because he's arguably at his highest value. He's 29 years old. And then you could have got 2 number 1s for him. But again, if your goal is to make the playoffs, I don't think we would have made it. At best, we would have been the 10th seed. If you trade Alex Caruso, he has that much of an impact on winning. So I do think he's important to remain on the team for Kobe White's development. And that's why I'm not devastated they didn't trade him. I understand the argument, though, for why they should have. We've sent out so many draft assets. We do need to eventually kind of
hold some of our own. Keep some of our own.
Yeah.
That's a crazy idea, huh?
But that said, though, Sean, how confident are you in these guys making the right pick? Like,
we don't know. They haven't had.
Dalen Terry,
They haven't had. They have. Yeah, you're right, Dalen Terry. Yeah,
Dalen Terrible. There were assets all around there, good players all around there, and they passed on it. And they took this guy who's not anywhere near a good enough shooter to play in NBA. He's awful. He's awful. He's a good passer. He's a high energy, good defender. You can't shoot. You can't play in the league. You shoot that poorly. When he shoots, he just doesn't miss air balls, bricks. Like, it's not even close. So he's not ready. Maybe someday he will be. That was a terrible pick. Patrick Williams at 4, when you had Halliburton there, will be talked about for decades. So I don't have any faith in Io. Like, I was screaming on my couch to draft Io, so I don't give him a ton of credit for that. I knew how good he was, and he fell to the second round. Their drafting has been awful with that exception of Io, I think, overall. So I don't have a lot of faith in this group in terms of identifying and drafting talent. Their free agent signings have been much better.
I talked about it before. You're just about to come on. How do you like the dynamic duo, the twin towers of Alex Caruso, of Vucevic and Drummond? Those two guys are both walking double doubles. You saw it in there in the highlights coming out of the break. I mean, there's something about Drummond, like he's a man. He's a man's man. Like, he's not like you see. He's a full grown ass Mickey Ficky man. Thick thighs, thick ass, thick chest, thick shoulders, thick arms. And when he dunks on you heard Stacey, get out the way. Get out of the way, because you don't want to try and block that and end up with a fractured wrist. Do you like that combo of those two on the floor together?
You can play that combo together with certain teams, like
not all
Minnesota,
the time, yeah.
that work.
But,
But against quicker teams that really try to extend the floor, to do 5 out, that have a center that can shoot, it's really hard to play that lineup, just because defensively, if you're able to stretch out that group, I mean, Vooch can only play one level of defense. That's a drop D. He can't show on picks. He's too slow. And you really are limited in that scenario. Now, Drummond's definitely more defensively versatile. He's quicker. He's faster. He's top 10 in the league in deflections per 36. But, I mean, I love Drummond. I just think it's one of the most underrated stories. Like, last night he was, let me look here, 10 of 11 shooting, 21 points, 13 rebounds in 31 minutes. Like, that's been his per 36 numbers are insane. The thing with Drummond, sometimes you get frustrated with, well, obviously he can't shoot, so he's not going to extend the floor for you. But I do like him more than I actually, believe it or not, like Vucevic. I think he's a better rim rocker. I think he's better at protecting the rim on the defensive end. He's more versatile defensively. But putting those two together, there's a reason why teams don't do that anymore. I mean, the 84 Rockets, it can work with them. You don't see two centers out on the court often now, because teams are too talented at hitting the three, have too much shooting, and they'll spread those guys out and they'll kill them. They'll absolutely kill them. So very select lineups that will work. Teams that don't have shooting, it can work. But even against Minnesota, you saw Towns kill us at the 3-point line.
That was an anomaly, bro. He was hitting like that. That basket had looked like Lake Michigan, bro. I was like, what?
Well, I don't know about that. No, Towns is one of the best shooting bigs in the history of the game. Like, from three, he's that good. So, like, I love Towns as a 3-point shooter. I think he's phenomenal. And so you got to expect that. But, that lineup worked because they were able to I think they put Drummond on Towns. I got to watch that over again. But I agree with what you're saying. I see what the point you're trying to make. That only works when Vooch is hitting the three. He was 3 of 7 last night. When he starts showing that he could hit the three, you can extend the floor, and you have two guys. You have only one guy in the court that doesn't extend the floor in Drummond. But if Vooch is going 0 for 7, 0 for 6 from 3, 0 for 5, man, you don't really have to guard space. You just guard. You let your big just stay in the paint and clean up the mess.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that one, because I like Drummond in the paint. I love him in the paint. All right. I mean, we know he's not coming out hitting threes, but he's a big body in the paint, and he does a phenomenal job of walling you off, of backing you in, and then we talked about he doesn't like to lay stuff up. He dunks it. He's a grown ass man, dude. So and for me, I love it. I love it because it gets people in foul trouble. It gets people, people most time aren't going to want to go up and try and block his shot because of how big and strong he is. So I don't know. I'm a big fan of Drummond. I just like to see him in. I like to see those two in more, especially, when you got a high-low game. So, you got Vooch out front, but you talked about him needing to hit that three. Because if he can, Drummond can wall someone off. You saw it in the clip coming out, get it down low, and you're going to have an and one, or, just people get out of the way for the dunk. So that's why I like those two on the court together. Yes. And I hope it works. Hey, Fred, listen, I know
you're definitely going to see more of that if Patrick Williams is still out.
True.
That's a good option. But again, it's all dependent on the success of that pairing is dependent on Vooch hitting the three. He's at 28% on the year, Shawn. I've never seen a player go from 40 to 28% in 3 years. It's like maybe they're out there, maybe I'm not aware of them, but I mean his decline as a three-point shooter has just been, I can't stress enough, a massive drop of the ceiling for this team. If he was still hitting at a 40% rate, the way Kobe's developed, holy cow, we could be a top 5 team. But, his inability to hit the three, he's not even guarded. They don't even pay attention to him. Look at all his shots. I think 92% of them are wide open, no defender within 3 feet. So it's a shame.
Yeah, we all played hoops for once we realized that dude can't score, then we'll talk shit. Leave him alone. He can't hit shit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Leave him alone. He got a rebound. Get the rebound.
Exactly. Compare that to Kobe White, who you got to guard out, pick him up at 35 feet out.
Dude, one dribble across half court, you got to get his ass, man.
Yes.
Woo, yeah. Charlie. Fred, great stuff, Papa. I appreciate it. Hey, you have a phenomenal weekend. Who you going for in the game Sunday? Niners?
I'm going to be cheering for the Niners, but I'm done betting against Mahomes. I mean, I think the Chiefs will end up winning. He's just so good. It's mind-blowing. So yeah, I can't wait, though. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good game.
Me too. I've been a Niners fan since the 80s. They've been my second favorite team since the 80s. If the Bears didn't win it, then I wanted the Niners to win it. So
Roger Craig.
I got my Roger Craig jersey right behind this dude. Yeah. I got my Roger Craig jersey in the closet, bro. So I'll be wearing that on Sunday. One of the most
underrated running backs of all time. Phenomenal.
He needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Damn it. First thousand guy in the history of the NFL.
Incredible.
2 Super Bowl rings, 3 Super Bowl rings. Yeah, man. Don't get me started.
Agreed.
But cool, man. Yeah, so we're along. I'm not betting against Mahomes. I'm going for the Niners, but I damn sure ain't betting against Mahomes. He just went on the road when everyone's like, he hasn't been on the road. He's always been at home. He can't do shit. He's like, oh, really? Hold my beer. Went on the road 3 games. Bam, took it home.
Exactly.
It's tough. Cool, Papa. You have a good weekend. Don't get too drunk and re-aggravate that laryngitis.
You too, Shawn. Thanks for having me on, man. Always good to see you.
All right, we'll talk soon.
See you later.
Guys, that's Fred Pfeiffer from the Big Red Bus and ChicagoBullseye.com talking Bulls basketball here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. You know what? It's fun. This Bulls team is fun. They have a lot of holes. They have a lot. They're nowhere near competitive to take the East. I get it. They're doing what Arturas Karnisovas said all day yesterday. They're being competitive. If we can get Vooch back up to 40% from the 3, that's going to be exciting. That's going to be, with the way Kobe White is performing, come on, man. That's going to be awesome. I don't know why. I don't understand how, like Fred said, how you can go from 40% to 28% in a couple of years. Like, isn't that what do you work on in the off season? What do you work on in the off season? Like, I mean, I knew guys in high school who would, they at the end of practice, they're hitting 100 free throws. They're hitting 100 jumpers. I knew one kid who did 500 jumpers a day. He come in before school, shoot, go to school, go to class, everything. After school, he practice. After practice, make sure you got the rest of the remaining of 500 left, the balance. You're getting paid millions and millions of dollars, and you can't do. You go from 40% to 28%. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. Well, listen, let's take a break. On the other side of the break, we're going to wait for our guy, Lauren Cox, to join us. Talk a little Bears, talk a little Super Bowl. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
To run for 17, back he goes, here comes Chubb, there goes the ball, touchdown, Mooney! Jones will walk at the left tackle, time for Fields, now he'll accelerate to get the first down, great tackles, and he's off to the races, and he got a terrific block.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
So I've come up with the family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311.
This year, my mom got me the perfect bag for back to school.
These colorful binders help me stay organized.
These headphones are just what I need for studying.
These new sneakers are just what I need for the new year.
This jacket is a real must-have.
My parents got me the skateboard I wanted. It's pretty cool.
These scissors really come in handy in art class. These colored pencils, too.
These new socks, they can be a real lifesaver.
And I finally got my own phone to stay in touch with my mom.
welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. I want to thank my guy Steve-O for putting that together. Man, oh man, oh man. Big news for the Chicago Bears organization. I know we have 3 guys, but one of them is really going as a Carolina Panther, and that's cool. While he was here, man, that dude was a freaking monster. Whew. My next guest, we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about the Bears. We're going to talk a little bit about last night, the awards. Man, you know him. He's been rocking with us for years. Been in the game for years. He's from the Lockdown Podcast, and you can find him on Twitter at Cox Sports One. It's like Fox Sports One, but with a C. Guys, welcome back to Shawn and Maya. Lauren Cox. Lauren, good morning, Papa. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, and I mean, heck, it feels almost like a Victory Monday when you wake up after getting, especially Devin and Steve in the Hall of Fame. Like this is a great morning.
It really is. Long overdue. Let's talk about it quickly. Let's talk about not quickly, but let's talk about that first. Devin Hester waited. This is his 3rd time on the ballot. Why do you think they made him wait when he is hands down the greatest returner of all time? They changed rules because of this guy.
Yeah.
Why do you think they made him wait?
You're not going to hear any arguments from me, but it's weird. Like even look on social media last night, people that are not in Chicago or not Bears fans were complaining like, how did Hester get in ahead of Antonio Gates last night? How did Hester get in ahead of this guy? And it's like, that's the answer to your question. It's not that he was never worthy enough at the time. It's that it seems like every year it's another really, really good crop of players that all also deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. And how you start to separate the greatest return man of all time versus, one of the greatest tight ends of all time and some of the great linebackers and everything. I mean, every single year it's another, like they announced like the guys who will be eligible for the first time next year. And there's like 10 guys that I think should all be in the Hall of Fame. And you can only put in, 4 or 5 at a time here. So I'm glad that he finally got in and didn't have to like wait even longer to be in sort of like the, the seat, like, long-term, like the senior category, like Steve McMichael had to wait to get in that way. Like get Hester in now, really let him enjoy this and be, young and vibrant and a Hall of Fame player that we all remember.
The way he was able to change the game, literally change the game. And we saw the Arizona game in that clip where the offense didn't score 1 touchdown. All right, it was 2 defensive touchdowns, and that is just amazing. And then you wonder. Bottom line is he's in. Thank goodness. It just sucks that he had to wait this long, and I'm happy he's in. Let's talk about Mongo though. Why do you think he had to wait so long? When he retired, he was the leader and interior defensive lineman in sacks. He led them in the history of the NFL at that particular point. So it's not like he was just, a part or he was a hanger-on that 85 defense. He was one of the anchors of that defense, especially up the middle, because you had guys coming off the edge, and he collapsed the pocket from the middle, from the inside, and that's tough for a quarterback. Why do you think they made him wait so long?
I wonder if that's just a product of it's a great 1985 team that already has a handful of Hall of Famers on it. And it seems like the Hall of Fame always struggles with this, where it's like, okay, how many guys from the same team can you induct? I know the early Green Bay Packers with Bart Starr and stuff struggle with this all the time. Like, of course, the fan base wants all 22 starters on that team to be in the Hall of Fame. And no, they're not all Hall of Fame guys, but like, so you get these guys that like McMichael's not thought of quite up in the Richard Dent. Richard Dent gets all the attention and all the love. I mean, not all of it, but a lot of it. And Dan Hampton, like those guys end up being first and second in the discussion. And then Steve comes third, and not because he's not a Hall of Fame caliber player, which he clearly is, and now that's been finally rewarded, but because he's playing with 2 arguably even better Hall of Fame caliber players. And it's like, okay, can you put the whole defensive line in the Hall of Fame and the whole defense as a whole? Like, no. So where do you start to draw the line? And I think this is sort of their way of saying, like, okay, they got in the 85 guys right away that are early enough that were really the cream of the crop. And then, okay, the next tier of 85 Bears that are also Hall of Fame worthy, but you just got to find a way to kind of massage this in so you can put them in later. And it's not like this whole induction of a whole team all at once.
You guys, we're joined by Lauren Cox from the Lockdown Bears podcast, talking Bears football here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Julius Peppers was only with us for 4 years. Okay. He made his name for himself with the Carolina Panthers. I'll probably go in as a Panther I don't think he's going to wear a baseball hat. Like, they don't do that. But, he'll probably say Carolina Panthers. Talk to me about about what a freak of nature he was. He's a big guy. I told the story earlier before in the show when I met him, and that dude was all of 6'7", maybe 6'8", and he was just a freak of an athlete, phenomenal basketball player. I played on the University of North Carolina basketball team. Talk to me about him, and he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you talk about him as a Carolina Panther. I saw one of these Packers websites say 2 former Packers get into the Hall of Fame, Julius Peppers and Steve McMichael. That's about as big of a reach as it's a Hall of Fame caliber reach to call Steve McMichael a former Packer. I mean, he was, but anyway, with Julius, I mean, at least he was in Green Bay for a couple more years. You're right. Like, people forget he was listed at like 290. Like, this is like defensive tackle size, but with the athletic tools to play defensive end. I mean, obviously it's 6'7", he's got more length to kind of spread out the weight.
Yeah.
But like, this player is humongous, and just like aesthetically, we'd have the dark visor on. He just looks like
he looked badass, dude.
Yeah, he's like you fear Julius Peppers lining up on the opposite side from you. But like, what stood out to me when I was looking back and not only like remembering back, but then double checking some stats and stuff. Like, I forgot that. Like 2010, the first year he gets to the Bears, all Pro Bowl. I think he was in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. He had 8 sacks that season, right? It wasn't like he was a stat sheet guy as much, but he was a constantly double and triple team, constantly in the backfield and running plays. Like, he was the most disruptive player on that defensive line and one of the most disruptive players in the NFL, and made everybody else's job easier. But like, as a result, like, he had to do so much of the dirty work that he doesn't get the gaudy numbers, but still gets very good numbers in spite of all of the attention he got. And of course, the sacks don't consider the interceptions and the forced fumbles and the tackles for loss and everything else he did on that defense. Like, he was a guy who could be elite without having to put up, 17 sacks to get the recognition for it. Like, it was clearly recognized how great he was, that even at only an 8-sack season, he was all Pro Bowl, game changer for the Chicago Bears.
Because he had that ability. I mean, he was 6'7". We talked about his ability, his skill as a basketball player. Like, if he couldn't get there, like, he would jump. I mean, that's a 6'7" guy with long arms. I mean, if you saw him, his arms literally came down to the middle of his thighs. Like, so imagine him with his hands up jumping. That's a tough thing to get around for quarterbacks. He did a hell of a lot, and it was great to see him play. It was great to see him play as a Bear. I think his prime years were with Carolina, but we still had some really good years with him here, and it was awesome to see someone like that, someone of that size that you talk about, 290 pounds, just be so freaking athletic and be this literally a freak of nature. So congratulations to all those guys, man. I'm really, really happy for him. Mongo, especially, we all know the health issues that he's the battles that he's going through right now. I think him and his wife Misty are, relieved, but I think he's so proud. I think that was one of the things that he was fighting for so long, to stay alive, is to realize that he is a Hall of Famer, and to be a fly on the wall when Misty said, "Honey, you're a Hall of Famer." That'd have been dope.
I get goosebumps just here, like, oh man, it goes down the back of your spine a little bit. Like, it's just like, it's bittersweet, right? Like, it's so cool that he gets to be alive for it and gets to see all this, but like, it just sucks that he can't be on the stage. You know what I mean? And like, we'll see how things go by the time he gets to the ceremony, right? But he's like, he's not going to be able to get to experience all of the festivities and all of the praise and everything in person, but at least he gets to be here for it. Like, he gets most of it. He gets the recognition. He gets to really like to me, like, it's like you've done it. Like, you've earned it. You're good to go. Like, we're so happy for him. And it really just, like, it's not a storybook ending, but at least it feels like something is right in the world, right? It would have been a shame if he hadn't been able to get in the Hall of Fame while he was still alive.
And you know what? I'm going to miss the fact. I'm going to miss his smart ass remarks. He didn't care. He didn't care. He was, I partied with him a couple times when he was a coach of the Slaughter, and he was larger than life. He's just a real down to earth dude. And, yeah, man, it was awesome. And then that's unfortunate. But what is really fortunate, what's really cool, is Jared Payton is going to induct him. How cool is that for JP? You get to induct your dad when you were 13, and now you get to induct another one of his teammates into the Hall of Fame. That is pretty freaking wild, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's fitting though, right? Like for somebody like Jarrett to be able to do that and to continue to be a part of that team and a part of this organization in all these ways. And he's gotten like he's so good at too, like as a media person, as a presenter, as someone who can convey information so effectively and vividly. Like, I wondered if like Ditka would do it, because I know Ditka's talked about him being, the toughest guy he ever coached or whatever, the meanest guy. I don't forget the exact quote there, but like Jarrett Payton's so much a better speaker than Mike Ditka in terms of like giving a good speech. Like Ditka can rally the guys as a speech, but like presenting as a Hall of Fame guy, like I'm glad it's Jarrett, and we'll hear plenty of other McMichael stories from everyone else on that team.
Yeah, and I know we will. Let's talk about the current team now. Obviously, the no news can happen this week. Everything is focused on Las Vegas, and understandable. This is their baby. All right, no, they don't want to hear Jack spit about anything, anyone, anything else, no trades, no nothing, which is fine. But there's still the question when it's all said and done, what are your thoughts on, and now it seems like maybe it's me, but down in the Super Bowl, especially on Radio Row, I've heard a lot more people talking about, what, keep Justin Fields, build around him. He's developing, blah, 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 blah. Your thoughts on this whole Justin Fields situation?
Yeah, I think that's what's coming out of Radio Row a little bit more, because a lot of the people on Radio Row are current and former players. And I think in general, there's a certain brotherhood among current and former players that like we support and protect our own, and we're not taking money out of anybody else's pockets by saying, no, the Bears should get rid of that guy who's in our union and replace him with a guy who's not yet in our union. So I think there's like, not that they're not genuinely, they believe what they're saying. I totally believe that, and that they genuinely like and support Justin Fields. But I do think it's a little bit of I don't know if bias is the right word, but it's like, yeah, I think current and former players are always going to back the current player on the team like that. And I get it. And again, like, I don't think it's wrong to think that the Bears should support Justin Fields. Like, I don't think this is totally a clear and obvious decision. And I think the Bears could be just fine supporting Justin Fields and trading down and all that stuff. I do personally think Caleb is the better option for the franchise, but I don't think it's a clear and obvious thing. And I don't think it's like you're going to be bad if you stick with Justin and you're only going to be good if you get Caleb, or vice versa. Like, I'm rooting for Justin, and I think whether he's a Bear or somewhere else, like, he will continue to have success. Jesus, maybe all of the above, but he will specifically continue to have success throughout the rest of his career.
I'm sure he will continue to have all the above. He's a young guy, a lot of it. As a young guy. That's classic. I'm going to have Steve cut that up, dude. That's going to be awesome. That's awesome.
It's too early morning for me, man.
That's awesome. Yeah. So your thoughts? You want them to trade Justin and keep Caleb? And so what's your logic against that haul that you're going to get, especially from Washington, local kid? All right, trying to get they don't have anything. No one gives a damn about Washington right now. They got a new ownership group. They're still trying to get that stank, the Daniel Snyder stank, off of that organization. What better way to bring a hometown kid? My college, my running back mate, it was his high school coach. We've talked about him a few times. So what's your logic against that to bring, to keep for the Bears taking Caleb?
Yeah, absolutely. I do think it's pretty close. Like, I can see the strong argument for getting the assets and all that stuff. I think for me with Caleb, I can't pass on the opportunity to get a quarterback that can do things that perhaps only Patrick Mahomes can do, maybe Josh Allen, in terms of the combination of arm playmaking and arm talent and being able to manipulate within the pocket. Like, to me, like, I know Justin Fields can also do special things that only maybe Lamar Jackson can do, but like that's more with the legs, and Caleb Williams can do things with his arm that not very many, if any, quarterbacks in the NFL can do. And I think while I certainly have questions about his floor and about, where he still has weaknesses, he's not a perfect, flawless prospect by any means. I think right now, as a passer, he's already where Justin Fields is and has such a higher ceiling as a passer and a clear path of developing towards being that potentially elite quarterback. And I think the things he struggles with, or the things he does poorly right now, are things I can work with within my offense to try and mitigate and work through and kind of get him past that. Not like permanently going to eliminate all weaknesses or anything, but I think the path to him being an elite difference making quarterback is so clear that I cannot pass up that opportunity to get that kind of difference maker at quarterback, even for a really big haul. Like I just feel like if I can get Patrick Mahomes out of him, there is no level of price tag of trade of picks and players that you can trade me to take away that potentially truly elite quarterback. Like I have to see it. I have to see it through with him and make sure that this is not the guy that can be different. Can be that special franchise changing player. And to me, that's a step above the other quarterbacks in this draft and any other quarterback option the Bears have.
Okay. Well, then you and I definitely are on opposite sides of this issue,
Sure.
which is fine. We don't have to call each other clowns or idiots or like some people like to do on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because I've been called a clown for so many things and whatever. I just find it interesting. Talk to me about why do you think it's gotten so toxic though? Why do you think it? I mean, this is literally worse than Cub Sox, and that's bad. I know I'm part of Cubs. I'm part of the Sox Cubs, and I don't even like my White Sox right now. I hate my White Sox right now. I still talk shit to Cub fans.
Yeah, I'm very tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it, and I hope that Ryan Poles does us a favor, kind of like he did last year, and make that decision early. I mean, I know at his season-ending press conference, he said, we might take this all the way up to April, and I'm like, oh no, like I can't do two more full months of this. Like we need a decision like right after the NFL scouting combine again would be absolutely perfect. Like in either direction, like at this point, like just give me an answer so we can stop arguing about it. I mean, the toxicity is tough because I mean, everybody loves Justin Fields. We all love Justin Fields. There's no like that's the other thing about it is like so many people that have like the pro Caleb Williams camp have turned on Justin Fields as though he's some bum
child molester. I'm like, dude, like
yeah.
Or he kicks dogs for a living. Like, dude, stop.
Yeah, like I don't understand. Like, I can be pro Caleb Williams, and also I think I can also be pro Justin Fields. Like, I think drafting Caleb is what's in the best interest of the franchise. But like, if they stick with Justin Fields, like I still see a path towards success that way. And certainly if they trade Justin Fields, I'll be rooting for Justin Fields on whatever team he ends up going to. Like, I don't understand why it becomes this sort of us versus them mentality, but it feels like a wider reflection of the internet and society right now, where it's kind of tribalism and it's a pack thing where it's like, okay, if you're not on my side or if you disagree with me, then you're attacking me. And so I need to attack you. And it's a mess. And I really hope that like over the course of these next couple months, we can just sort of survive this. And then whatever they decide, I have a feeling everyone will come all back together. And even if you were hating on Justin Fields the whole time, you'll come back around and say, all right, like I'm rooting for this guy. And even if you were really dreading Caleb Williams, the moment he starts playing well, you'll come back around on him too. And if he struggles from the get-go, then no one's going to like him. Even if you're pro Caleb Williams, like at the end of the day, like how these quarterbacks perform will shape ultimately how everyone feels about them. And I'm ready to just see them perform at this point.
Yeah. Give me your thoughts. Cause there's a lot of things happening. All right. Like I said, the scenario I told you about with Magic and, new hometown kid, whatever, but then also the hiring of Cliff Kingsbury. He was in the running for the OC gig in Las Vegas, and then he withdraws his name and interview. I guess there's the interview, the mandatory, I guess, interview for the OC gig in Washington. He gets that, and he was one of Caleb's coaches at USC. Does that sway you? Does that you think that, okay, this could be what they're doing for him? Or do you think it just doesn't matter?
I think it only matters to an extent, right? Like it only matters if Ryan Poles is willing to listen. And I think Ryan Poles is willing to listen. And I think bringing Cliff to Washington maybe just increases the package that a team like Washington might be willing to give up for Caleb Williams. And I'm sure Ryan Poles will take that call and listen, but it's a matter of like how he evaluates and feels about Caleb Williams. And if Ryan Poles, in his words, is blown away, that's what he needs to be blown away by one of these quarterbacks. If he's blown away by Caleb Williams, I don't think there's a trade package that Washington can put together that can that can move him off of that quarterback he's blown away with. Now, if he's not blown away with Caleb Williams, then Cliff Kingsbury going to Washington is a great thing. And if the Bears can get even more, at the very least, like more trade interest, if not a bigger package from Washington in general, like that's great for the franchise. And I think like the Cliff Kingsbury thing can only help the Bears. It can only make things better for the Bears in terms of the draft capital they could get in this year's draft. But I personally not a big believer in Cliff as an offensive mind. So I don't know that Washington is going to be some, genius offensive team now. And it sounds like the thing with the Raiders was more about a contract issue than specifically like, not wanting to be in Las Vegas. And hey, it got Luke Getsy a job. So if we can keep that cycle going.
Yeah, huh? Talk about retreads.
Yeah.
What else do you think the Bears are going to go after in the draft? And if you can, I don't know how much draft study you've done, and if so, whatever position, can you give me a name or two that you'd like to see for a position that you think the Bears are going after?
Yeah, to me, it's wide receiver and edge rusher are probably the two spots at the 9th overall pick that would be highest on my board. I know like there's probably going to be a good offensive tackle there, and we'll certainly see what free agency brings as far as where the Bears address the rest of the needs on this roster. Because if they go out and sign a wide receiver, then like a good number 2 wide receiver, then you don't need to necessarily use one with the 9th overall pick there. Like, I mean, you could still, but it becomes less of a priority there. Or if they go out and sign a big time edge rusher, which there are a few, but not a ton in free agency, then maybe you don't draft one with the 9th overall pick. But certainly haven't been down to the Senior Bowl. A guy like Latu from UCLA is going to be in that conversation with the 9th overall pick. He is a beast. He is lean, but he is like thick and strong. There's just not any. He's big and strong, but there's not any wasted mass on his body. He almost looks like a wide receiver from a distance, but then you look closer and it's like rocked up. But it's just sort of tight on his body, and he's an
Does his medical history concern you?
The long term, he had a neck injury that he medically retired from football, and
right,
we're going to find out at the combine, or teams are going to find out at the combine, whether or not that's something to be concerned about. To me, that's the only thing, and we're not going to get an answer on that. But on the field, like the tape says 9th overall pick, and you could throw in Dallas Turner from Alabama as a guy who will be in that conversation as well. A little bit more speed and bend from him, but Latu to me is a as well-rounded of a pass rusher as you get coming out as a rookie. I mean, certainly as a top 10 guy, like in terms of having a pass rushing repertoire and an arsenal of moves that he already goes to. Like usually guys come out and they can do kind of one or two things, and early in their career trying to teach them counters and stuff.
New tricks, and What about the secondary? What about Eddie Jackson? I saw literally this morning. I woke up into a Twitter, a tweet from him, and it just said, something about happy new beginnings or, something like that.
There was on his Instagram as well, and like peace out Chi-Town. He posted on his Instagram story.
So obviously, well, not obviously, but it seems like, he's not coming back. So then if he's not coming back, obviously we need to go get a safety. Have you looked at any of the safety? Yeah, here it is. He said new beginnings, and he has the cross, Bojack, new beginning. Have you looked at anyone, or do you have anyone in mind that you think would be a really good fit to replace Eddie Jackson?
Yeah, I can't say I've done a ton of work on this safety class, but there were a few good players down at the Senior Bowl. And I know a friend of the show, Robert Schmitz, is a big fan of Jalen Simpson, who he sees a lot of Eddie Jackson comparisons to as a guy who played cornerback early on in his career and then moves to safety and kind of has that same sort of range as a free safety guy. Safety is interesting, though, because that's not and certainly in the NFL draft, it doesn't tend to be a position that goes early, right? It's a position where, second round, even third round, you can find quality safeties. You don't have to get one in the first round. It's kind of like center. It's a similar conversation where it's like, the top of the class guys will go mid to late first round, but usually there's only one, maybe two guys that ever even, sneak into that first round in these kind of draft classes. But then you could sit there in day 2 and day 3, or mostly day 2, but and get potentially a starting caliber player as a rookie. Now, it would be nice to have a veteran presence back there with Jaquan Brisker and the rest of this young secondary. It's already pretty young, but I think Ryan Poles has been just fine rolling with young players across the board. I don't think it's a stacked free agent class. I mean, maybe somebody like Xavier McKinney as a free agent, if he hits the market, could be interesting. And Geno Stone is kind of a younger up and comer there that was decent this past season for the Ravens, but it's not like there's a clear and obvious like upgrade out there. It's more like trying to get the same quality of player for less money. And I mean, I get it. He was going to cost 17-18 million dollars this year. And I love Eddie Jackson, but he wasn't playing like an $18 million safety. I would have thought they would have like renegotiated the contract and tried to like take that money and spread it out, add a couple years, bring down the cap hit in year one. I'm kind of surprised, but maybe Eddie Jackson said, no, screw that. Pay me my money or I'm out of here.
It's very possible. It's very possible. And I thought the same thing. You restructure his deal. And he's a leader, and someone just wrote, I didn't know Eddie Jackson tweeted that. And I just got this this was from last night. So, hold on. So this was him last night.
It was like
new beginnings, so it was at 11:07 last night. So, yeah, it's my guy Nomad had me watch these. Take a dive into these two guys. Dominique Hampton from Washington, 6'3", 210-ish, 215-ish. Got phenomenal feet. Looks like he could be. He looks like I think he might have been a corner first. So Dominique Hampton from Washington, and then Tyler Newman, local kid, went to St. Charles. My cousin's boys went, St. Charles North, 6'2", 210, from out of Minnesota. I looked at them a little bit last night, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm impressed. Dominique Hampton is a big time. He's a big time playmaker, and he's a hitter. So is Tyler Newman. So they're both hitters. They both bring the wood, and I'm like, all right, cool. Except my guy turned me on to him yesterday, so I did a little bit, not too much. I watched some highlights. I mean, highlights are great, but I'm gonna go watch some actual tape of them. Like I liked what I saw in highlights, but now I got to see how these guys play, in a full game, not just selected clips that you put together to show your best work. So yeah, take a look at those guys and see what you think. Because those two guys look like they have a potential to take over for Eddie Jackson if seemingly like it looks like he's going to be gone. So Sunday. They got this little game going on out in Vegas.
Sure.
Talk to me. What do you think, Papa? Are you in the are you the I can't bet against Patrick Mahomes? Or are you the the full man? This 49ers got a real team. They got a stacked team with Debo and Ayuk and CMC and Kittle and one-time MVP talk candidate Brock Purdy. How do you see this game playing out on Sunday, Super Bowl 58?
Yeah, I'm definitely in the can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. Certainly not as an underdog. I mean, I'll take that spread every single day of the week if you give me Patrick Mahomes and a couple points. Like I don't know. I feel like especially in the Super Bowl, like I can't purely just say it's just the quarterback. I mean, I know it's a team sport and I know that all matters, but like it's the Chiefs have such a quarterback advantage. And they also have a really good defense. Like if it was just Patrick Mahomes, like a couple years ago when they lost, right? It was Mahomes, but their offensive line was terrible, and they had Tyreek Hill, but not a lot in terms of other weapons. And then the defense was still kind of work in progress. Like it felt a little bit more, like Mahomes was on his own out there. Like I'll take Mahomes and some bad receivers with a great defense against a really, really good San Francisco 49ers team. But like if push comes to shove and it's tied with 2 minutes left and either Brock Purdy's got to drive and win the game or Patrick Mahomes got to drive and win the game, like everyone is taking Patrick Mahomes 10 times out of 10 in that matchup. And at the end of the day, like it feels like Super Bowls, even more so than any other game, ultimately comes down to which quarterback can make that big play for their team. And I'll take Patrick Mahomes. Unfortunately, I mean, I won't be upset if the 49ers win the game, but if my money's on it, I'm going with Patrick.
Yeah, I'm not betting against Patrick. That's for damn sure. I like my money. I work hard for it. But I do want the 49ers to win. I've been a big 49er fan my whole life. I mean, we're talking back to, I'm a lot older than you. So we're talking Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Roger Craig, Tom Rathman, Keena Turner, Ronnie Lott, like those guys back in the 80s. If the Bears didn't win it, I wanted the Niners to win it. So I have a Roger Craig jersey in my closet that I'll be wearing on Sunday. So it's tough. And I would say that. I don't know. I will say this. This is probably the best defense that Patrick Mahomes has had since he's been on the Chiefs. That's one hell of a defense he's got over there with him. He needs help with the receivers, but they had some issues early during the season. They seem to have worked them out. So I don't know. I think the better team overall is San Fran. They got a great defense as well, and they have more offensive weapons than the Chiefs. But I think the bigger weapon is Mahomes. I really, Brock Purdy came back last week. That was impressive. That was extremely impressive, and that was more than managing the game. Okay, that was more than managing the game. So I hope it's just a good game. I'm excited about it, man. I really am. I hope in middle of the third, start of the fourth quarter, I'm be like, what do you want? You guys want to go somewhere else? You know what I mean? I don't want to do that. I want to be engaged. Because I do have a dog in the fight. I do want Frisco, but it's not my bear. So it's like, okay, if they lose and you want to talk shit, fine, you can talk shit. I don't really care. So it's gonna be fun. I just hope it's a competitive game throughout. Do you do any betting or what at least prop bets would you like to take a look at?
Man, I can't help but be in on Isaiah Pacheco's overs on carries and rushing yards just because this 49ers, like the one weakness in this 49ers defense has been the running game a little bit. Like, not that they've even been that bad, but I think they're going to try and get Pacheco going and not have to have Patrick Mahomes be the hero until the very end. Like that's seen in the past when Mahomes in that last Super Bowl, like when Mahomes has to go do everything from the beginning to end and really just kind of fight for his life. It's a lot harder, and they don't always win those. So if they can get Pacheco going early and kind of keep that running game, keeping this 49ers defense honest, like I'm taking the Pacheco props for sure.
I do too. I like that kid. I really like that kid.
He runs weird, but I like it.
Yeah, and he's not big enough to be a power back, but he's a power back. I'm like, how does that work? Like, he's not Marshawn Lynch thick. He's not Derrick Henry big. He's not. And I'm like, how are you breaking all these tackles and moving the God blessed pile and you're not that big? I don't know, but I like it, and I think what I've seen from the Chiefs is what you just said a lot. You run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Oh yeah, by the way, we got this guy back here, Patrick something or other, who'll win the game at the end if necessary. And I think they've really done not I don't want to say a 180, but they've really transformed themselves from Patrick Mahomes throwing 5,000 yards. Now he don't, you know what? I don't have to throw 5,000 yards. I could turn around and hand to this guy. All right, he's going to get 100 yards. Clock goes down. I think it's very interesting to see that the transformation of that Chiefs offense. I mean, if he need be, he'll sling it like no one else. But it seems like he just much rather have it. Gives Pacheco here, there, and then okay, now it's middle of the third quarter. Okay, let me take my proverbial warm up off, and now I'll get in the game. And now you're really screwed, especially if that run game's going. Play action is a son of a gun. So I really like it, man. I really like this. How it's going to look. How it's going to play out. Hopefully.
I hate to tell you, Shawn, but that's what the offense is supposed to look like with Caleb Williams and Shane Waldron. That's you dumped it off here and there in the third quarter. Caleb Williams got to take the cloak off and then go be the superhero. Like that's what it was like at USC for him, right? It's a lot of RPOs and little check down stuff, and then all right, game's on the line. Let me dance around in the pocket for a little while and find somebody open super far downfield. Like that's the dream. That's what people grab onto for the Caleb stuff. I mean, I know it's easier said than done when it's like, oh, we'll just go get Patrick Mahomes, but like that's what it feels like. That's what people hold on to.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be Waldron and Fields. I'm telling you.
There you go.
Well, and you know what? And my thing is this: I don't have any ill will toward Caleb. I have ill will toward the Jamokes who made it personal. But sure, like I said, my good friend from college, one of my best friends from college, we were running backs together, was his high school coach. So I'm not going to wish ill will on this kid. I want him to do well. I want him to be great. I want him to have a great career, and I think he will. Me personally, I just think Justin's a bit, but it doesn't mean that I hate Caleb. Doesn't mean I want him thrown under the jail. It doesn't mean I want him to be, what I'm saying? It's like, I can want both, and man, according to some people, it has to be one or the other, and to me, that's just crazy. But I think the kid is good. I think he's got some work to do. And whether it's here or somewhere else, it's going to be fun watching, because I'm going to keep an eye on him. Obviously, whether if he's here, obviously I'll do a lot. I'll get to watch him, But if he goes somewhere else, like Washington, I'll definitely keep an eye on him, see how he does. Just like I'm going to keep an eye on Justin if he's not here. If they trade him to Atlanta or they trade him somewhere else, I'll keep an eye on him, see how he does. Because I truly don't think that he got a fair shake here. I don't think they did anything to develop him properly. I shouldn't say anything. They didn't do enough. All right. They finally got him to number 1 in DJ Moore. They finally got him a right tackle. All right, that helped. But the first 2 years, man, that was brutal. That was brutal what they did for him. So
I think that's something everyone should be able to agree on, right? Like on both sides of this spectrum. Like, yes, Justin Fields was not properly developed and was often mistreated over his time in Chicago Bears. And I think it comes down to like he's just it's just poor timing right now for Fields, where it's like if the Bears didn't have the number 1 overall pick and didn't have Caleb Williams sitting there would be no debate or no discussion.
There'd be no discussion, yeah.
You're for using these 2 first-round picks to build around Justin Fields and keep revamping the defense and the weapons and stuff. Like everyone would be hunky-dory. We'd all be singing Kumbaya, but like it's only the fact that the Bears happen to get this first overall pick and that Fields is in the third or the going into the 4th year of his rookie contract. Like it's purely a bad timing thing that has led to so much division, as opposed to like Fields being clearly this bad option that no matter what the Bears needed to move on from Fields this offseason. Absolutely not. It's purely that Caleb Williams is available, and that changed the math for some people on Fields, and now we're bitter rivals arguing at each other about things that are totally unrelated to football.
Timing is everything. Remember when Jake Arrieta was pitching for the Cubs back in the World Series year, and he had the end of 15 and the beginning of 16 where he was literally untouchable. At the end, and they won a World Series, but he wasn't out of contract. He came out of contract the next year, and they were talking, had he come out of contract after that Cy Young winning award, he was going to get around $200 million. And that following year, one more year, yeah, he didn't get. It was like 75. I think he ended up with. I mean, I think he's in the food stamp line now with only 75 mil. I'm not sure, but yeah, timing's everything. And it just didn't line up perfectly for like if he was going on to his 3rd year, I think there's a lot less debate, because I'm definitely saying, oh no, hang on to this guy, build, because I like the prospect of 2 first-round picks in 24, 2 first-round picks in 25, possibly 2 first-round picks in 26. That's how you build a team. And from that one, and that's one of the reasons I like. One of the reasons I like it. I think Justin can do everything that anyone else can do physically. But the haul that you get, like from that number 1 pick last year, dude, we might end up with 8 to 9 to 11 players total. That's one side of the ball. And most of those players are 1st and 2nd rounders. That is insane. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, man. And I burned up. I'm sure some people we have burned a few bridges, but for all intents and purposes, I mean, we're all Bear fans, and I hope they do well. But so give me your pick, Papa. You said you can't bet against them, but give me a prediction for Sunday.
Oh man, it's good. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be tight. I mean, that's really what I'm rooting for. If I had to put a number on it, I don't know. I'll say I'll throw a weird score in there. I'll say 26-20 Chiefs. I think they cover even by a little bit, but like it ends up being like somebody goes for 2 and doesn't get it. It's not like there's going to be like missed extra points or something, but it's going to be some weird scoring math there that ends up getting us to 26 with a couple field goals and a 2-point conversion or something in there that the Chiefs try and go up by 8. And then, the 49ers score and then don't get a 2-point conversion. So it ends up being a weird, like 26-20 is what I'll take.
Okay. I'm similar. I have 27-24. And it's funny how you say that, because I had my own scenario in my head how it was going to play out, and my predict was this: is that they're going down to tie the game on a field goal, and they get an interception.
Ooh,
and the Niners get the pick. It's deflected. And they win 27-24, and it's like that would be. He's like, damn it, and not necessarily. It's not really Patrick Mahomes' fault. It got deflected, and I see how that's my scenario and how it ends up 27-24.
You
But
know,
it's gonna be.
I wouldn't be heartbroken if former Green Bay Packer Marquez Valdez-Scantling blows it for him. At the end of the Ravens game when he threw that last pass to him, I was secretly kinda hoping he dropped that, and that he
Yes.
helped him back too, but, not quite, not quite.
Anything, or any one former Packer, yeah. I hope that would be poetic for us Bear fans. It really would. Hey, Lauren, great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it, man. Do me a favor though, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much for having me on. As always, it's a lot of fun. You can follow me on Twitter at Cox Sports One. It's like Fox Sports One with a C. And you can hear me 5 days a week on the Locked On Bears podcast. It's on YouTube and wherever you can get your podcasts.
Cool. And just so you know, hashtag coaching matters, Lauren.
It sure
Hashtag
does.
coaching matters.
I made the argument this offseason that the Bears OC hire would be more important than their quarterback decision because whether
Yes, it would.
Caleb or Justin, if Shane Waldron is the wrong guy, you're screwed either way. But if Shane Waldron is the right guy, then he can make it work with Justin and he can make it work with Caleb. And so it's a really important decision, and we'll see how Shane Waldron plays out. There's a lot to like and some red flags too.
It seems like he is. Being able to work with Russell, being able to work with Geno Smith, but then you also got Brown, as a passing game coordinator who was actually coming in, who interviewed for this gig as well. You also have the wide receiver Beatty, Beatty, who worked with DJ Moore, Joseph as well, the QB coach. So they're building a nice little offensive staff. And these are guys who call plays. Most of them have called plays before, or in Brown's case and in Waldron's case. So whoever it's going to be, they're going to have a nice have the comforts that a CJ Stroud had, who had a guy in Bobby Slowick who can develop a quarterback, who can bring the best out of him and maximize his potential. So whoever it's going to be, whether it's Justin or Caleb or Drake May or Jaden Daniels or whoever, they're fortunate. Someone said real quick about JJ. He goes, "What about the hometown kid, JJ McCarthy?" I'm okay with bringing him in, but that's only if you keep Justin. I'm not saying if you keep Justin, bring him in. Him and Tyson Bagent, you have the ability now to keep an emergency third quarterback. Just let those two fight it out, all right? And I'm definitely cool with it, man. I really am. But Lauren, I'll let you go, Papa, because otherwise we'll be on here till like 1 o'clock talking Bears, baby. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
All righty. We'll talk soon. Bye now. Guys, that's Lauren Cox from the Locked On Bears podcast, talking Bears football with me. And, yeah, man, Chris, I'm okay with bringing in McCarthy. That means you're keeping Justin, because you know how I feel. I personally feel that Justin is the best option for this to lead this organization. It's my opinion. From what I've seen, I have no problem bringing in Jaden Daniels, but I think Jaden Daniels has really worked his way up into the top 10. And I think that the Bears have a unique opportunity here because you can go 1-2, 2-3. Think of the haul you will have from that. Going 1-2 and 2-3. Or 1-2 to 2-6, depending. I don't remember what the draft order is right now. But someone jumps up because yes, I want Marvin Harrison Jr. I do. But if we're able to get more assets, like here's how this could go. You can get 3 number ones from Washington. Possible. This is best case scenario. You get 3 number ones from Washington and a number 2. Or 2 number ones, and a player. 2 number ones, a player, and a 2. Okay. Then for the number 2 pick, if you're New England at number 3, people are talking. They're going to be talking about Jaden Daniels. Do you want to take that chance of not having Jaden Daniels? New England needs a quarterback as well. So what are they going to give up? I'm not sure of the players that they have on their team that I want. You just get draft picks. You give me another 2 number 2s and a second round pick, and then we draft Marvin Harrison Jr. And if we don't get him, I'm okay with Romeo Dunze. All right, I'm okay with who's the other wide receiver? I mean, there's a shitload of them. You know, you still got Xavier Leggett from South Carolina. Who's the other dude out of Romeo Dunze out of Washington? It's Neighbors. Thank you, Malik Neighbors out of LSU. Thank you, Brian. I'm okay with one of those guys. I'm okay with Neighbors. I am more than okay with Malik Neighbors if we don't get Marvin Harrison Jr. I feel Marvin Harrison Jr. is the only generational player in this draft. All right, but if we miss him, just because you don't get a generational player doesn't mean you're not going to. Doesn't mean you can't get a perennial All-Pro, a perennial Pro Bowler. Doesn't mean you can't do that. Doesn't mean you can't do that at all. And if you're going to get more draft picks, again, now you can think of the haul. You'll have 2 first-round draft picks in this year. You might have 3 first-round draft picks in 25. You might have 3 first-round draft picks in 26. I don't know how many better ways there are to build a team than that. And here's the other issue. If Justin doesn't work, and I think it will, but if Justin doesn't work, guess what? You have 3 first-round picks. You can package 1, 2, or all 3 of them for the next generational guy coming in 25 or in 26. All right, 24, 25. You pick up Justin's 5th-year option, and then you can let him go. You let him go. If he doesn't improve to the point you want, you have all these picks from that number 1 pick. Let him go. You go get that next generational quarterback who's coming out. There's so many. Yeah, I love it. I love it. You know, Lauren said something. I hope he doesn't take it to April. Okay, I hope not. I hope he decides, and I, you know how I feel. You know, I'm a conspiracy theorist. You know, how I feel that the NFL is, well, it's entertainment. I think there's certain things that the powers that be. All right. The powers that be say, hey, I agree. Let's dictate this. I need this. Because for me, it's simple. Follow the money. You know, I've told you that. Think chess, not checkers. Caleb Williams in Washington, reviving the franchise. Season ticket sales go up. That place gets packed. Jersey sales through the roof. Other merchandising thing with Caleb Williams through the roof. Now this new organization, the new ownership group with Washington, they're getting an immediate return on investment, immediate bang for their buck. To me, it just makes too much sense. And what's really funny is my guy Randy, who was his coach, grew up in the DC area, was from Silver Spring, was a Cowboy fan. Everybody in his family is a Washington fan, and he's a Cowboy fan. It's crazy. That's crazy. So would he become a Washington fan? His boy is one of his former players. Hey, you know, I don't know. That would be interesting, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I hope the draft at the draft. I'm sorry, the draft at the NFL scouting combine at the end of the month. I hope there's the decision shortly after that, and the Bears can go about their business. All right. You know, they traded the number 1 pick. I could talk shit to all those people who said they weren't going to trade it, because if they do trade Justin, they're going to, believe you me, a lot of people are going to be talking shit to me. And you know what? I'm ready for it. It's okay. It's fine. That's fine, because at the end, when it's all said and done, I want the Bears to do well. Let's see what we got over here. Yeah, he did. He's said that from Jump Street. He wants to build through the draft. And what better way than to get a whole bunch of first and second round picks? And here's the thing: is like if you're starting to get if you're starting to get a little congested or close to the cap, you can always trade one of those first round picks. You could trade out. There's going to be a quarterback. There's going to be something, and you could trade. You get 2 seconds. A second this year, you know. I'm saying for next year, 2 second round picks. There's just so many options for the Bears. And Lauren is a guy who believes or who wants to draft Caleb. And I'm not. I think you all know that. I've been pretty clear on my stance. I don't think Caleb is the dude to run this organization. It doesn't mean Caleb isn't the dude to run another organization. It doesn't mean Caleb isn't the dude to lead another organization to the playoffs. Doesn't mean that at all. Hell, he could lead the Bears to the playoffs. I just think Justin Fields is a better option. I think Justin Fields going into this year, if he goes into the season, I think their ceiling might be the NFC Championship game. That's their ceiling. I don't know if they can get past San Fran. If you get to the playoffs, the divisional round, get to the NFC and get the NFC Championship game, come on now. And it's not going to be easy. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be easy at all. I'm not saying, there's going to the NFC Championship game. No. What I'm saying is, with the draft picks you have, with the new offensive coordinator and the offensive staff, I expect them to unlock Justin Fields. I do. And if they do, everyone, when Lauren was talking about the arm talent, this and this, Justin Fields has arm talent as well. All right, we've seen it. We've seen him roll to his left, throw across his body. I mean, I've highlighted the throws. All right, humpback line drives over a jumping linebacker. All right, adjusting arm slot to Khalil Herbert on a swing. I mean, on a screen, he threw up. The guy jumped, dropped, threw it on the side. Khalil Herbert caught it, untouched into the end zone. 100-mile-an-hour fastball, fade routes, deep seams. We've seen it all. We just need to see it consistent. And that's where I think Shane Waldron comes in. That's where I think the rest of this offensive staff come in, because if they get him consistent, top 10 quarterback in the league, easily. Could be top 5, in my opinion. But Sunday, let's talk about Sunday. We got a couple more minutes left. Let's talk about Sunday. What are you guys thinking? I'm really rooting for the Niners. All right, I really like them. I am a big Niners fan, as I said, from the 80s. I've been a little annoyed the way Patrick Mahomes has been a little crybaby the last year and a half. All right, he bitches and moans about everything. They just play ball. Tom Brady knew that they let's see. Jordan Palmer's latest clip on YouTube shows that Justin can do it all too. Yeah. You're going Casey all the way. Okay. Yeah, I just don't, Tom Brady knew that they received the benefit of the doubt a few times. And Tuck rule, deflate gate, spying. All right. But he didn't act like a crybaby. He wasn't up and, you know what I mean? Believe me, I understand why a lot of people hate Tom. He's got one of the best lives, and man, baby mama is an actress, is a Hollywood star, and Bridget Moynihan, married to a supermodel, or was married to a supermodel for a long time. Now that they're divorced or independent, he can go wherever he wants. I'm Tom Brady. And he's got a great contract with an analyst deal on CBS or Fox. Some people get all the luck. But yeah, to me, I'm tired of Kansas City. I'm tired of Travis Kelce's girlfriend being on there. I get it. I understand why she's on there. I get it. But it's just annoying. All right, give me football. Yeah. Well, Brian, thank you, Papa. Thank you. You have a great weekend as well. Man, I want 2 hours to come and go on. I want to thank my guests. Okay, Fred Pfeiffer from ChicagoBullsEye.com talking Bulls basketball with us. I want to thank Lauren Cox from the Locked On Bears podcast for coming on talking Bears with me. Listen, so here's what's going to do. At 12:15, we have Lakina McGee and Sydney Brown here on Sports Zone Chicago on Second City Sports. All right, be sure to tune in there. All right, at 3 o'clock, Nomad and I will be doing our football show. It'll be on our Sports Zone Chicago's YouTube channel soon. We're going to try and get it on there today. If not, we'll see if we can get it on for Monday. And that'll be today at 3 o'clock. Okay, we're going to replay this show, all right, at 8. At 8 o'clock. We're going to replay this show at 8 o'clock. So you can catch this. If you missed it, you missed anything, you missed any of the interviews, go back, check it out. You can do that. All right, guys, it's going to be a phenomenal weekend. We had the rain last night. We're good now. 40s. Do us a favor. Get out there and enjoy it. Enjoy life. Don't be stuck in the house. Don't be, you know what I mean? Like, don't. Just get out there. Get out there. Have fun. Enjoy. This is beautiful weather. Why? I don't call him potato. You know what? Enjoy the Super Bowl. Yeah, and guys, these Coaching Matters t-shirts, they'll be on sale shortly. We're working to get a guy to get a site set up. It'll be on a link, my link tree. You'll be able to order them from there. Yeah. So listen, guys, have a phenomenal weekend. Your boy, the SuperBack, is out. Make sure. So for everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, Elliot Baez, our executive producer, Clarence Council III, my social media guy, my producer Steve Weekly. All right, my co-host Adam Sencha I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Again, enjoy this weekend. Be careful. Be careful. It's the biggest day for DUIs. Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. Be careful. All right. Stay home, get a designated driver, call an Uber, because let me tell you something, the cops are going to be out. All right. So everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Got to go pick up the warden from CrossFit, from her class. Guess what? Have a great weekend, boys, girls, sports owners. I really love. I appreciate the love and support you give me every show. Keep it up. Hit the like button. Spread the word. And what's the last thing? Who said something? You're so stupid. You're so stupid. Anyway, guys, I'm out.